Scotty, let's go. Red.
Yeah. I think antagonize 1 red for an instant. Target creature gets +4/+3 until end of turn. I heard a little bit what y'all were talking about. Like honestly, in terms of killing the opponent, run amok's probably better at doing that. This can be used defensively. That like it's a lot of stats. This basically just says, hey, you win combat, and sometimes you'll have the upside of dealing damage to the opponent. Sometimes, but it's not really the main draw of the card. I see this as a fine combat trick. Still, this is D+ for me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stat.
D+, fine trick. That's where I put my tricks that are nothing special. So yeah, you don't need to take them highly. You're gonna get them probably at one point. No deck needs like 10 tricks.
Big score, 3 and a red for an instant. As additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards and create 2 treasure tokens. I think this card is perfectly fine. Of course, like you needing to probably do nothing on your turn 4 in order to like set up for big turns in the future is it hurts. But I still think that this card is pretty playable, and I actually think that it's nice to enable splashes, nice to enable some ramping big things. I'm going to cast my 7-drop early off of this. It's going to be stinking awesome. I'm going to put this at a C-. I think these effects are always pretty reasonable.
Man, this card with the Gruul, uncommon if I'm correct? That lets you sacrifice treasures to make 1/1 citizens. It's like make 2 1/1s, discard a card to draw 2 cards. That's pretty good. But yeah, what do you give it?
C-.
Yeah, I'm also on a C- like it is. They're fine. Sometimes you really want them, sometimes you don't care about them. But yeah, always can make the deck. Probably not gonna make it worse. It's easier to cast than Windfall, which is nice. Right, Windfall is double red, which I really didn't like. In this set, oh, definitely not C+, I think. In this set, it gets even better where you can cast those multicolored cards, which is a big deal. But I'm on a C-, and then maybe get it up to a C grade in your head when you do need, when you do have some nice 3-color cards. But yeah, it's nice.
Daring Escape, red for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Scry 1. This, I believe, is a functional reprint of Stormstrike from Ravnica Allegiance, right? Which I actually think was surprisingly playable. Mostly because there was like a pretty proactive red-green beatdown deck. I don't necessarily think that this deck... I don't necessarily think this set will have as much of a home for it. And I think this will be a pretty mediocre combat trick. This is a D for me.
This is D- for me. I really hate just +1 power. It's hard to win combat like that. And yeah, just a D-. Really don't like cards like this. Basically never makes my decks.
Exhibition Magician. 2 red, 3 mana total for a human wizard. It's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token, or create a treasure. Heck yeah. This is a heckin' 3-drop. This is very flexible in terms of like if the 1/1 lines up well against what your opponent's trying to do. In terms of creature statting, the 1/1 white citizen is awesome. If you want to fix yourself or ramp yourself, the treasure token is also stinking awesome. I think this is pretty primo 3-drop at common. This is C+ for me.
Yeah, very high C+. I was thinking about a B- because of the flexibility, because neither of these parts are like crazy, but they're all both really nice. But it's close. I'm close to B-, but high C+, for me. This is worse than some of the similar cards that we saw, like worse than a 3/2, worse than the card that you're gonna see. That makes a treasure in green, but yeah, really nice. And there is not that much alliance, but it's always nice when you can get 2 things for alliance, if that's what you're doing.
Not many. Goldhound. Goldhound is an artifact creature treasure dog. It's a 1/1 with first strike and menace. And you can tap it to sacrifice Goldhound, add 1 mana of any color. This is interesting. This is very interesting. This is powerful. The higher okay, this gets more powerful the more high power your deck is, right? In terms of like how important it is to accelerate a one mono, like have a one mono accelerator. Typically, if it's not a repeatable type of effect, this is not worth it to like accelerate just like a 4-drop out on like turn 3, typically in limited. The keywords on this are kind of nice. I don't necessarily think the keywords make up for the fact it's a 1-mana 1/1, but I think everything combined, you can even augment this with like +1/+1 counters to make it a little bit more interesting. You can suit it up with an equipment to make it a little bit more interesting, and the fact that you can technically use this to fix and accelerate, which I think most of the time is going to be a fail case for this, is going to balance this out to be a playable Magic card. So I think this is a C- for me.
I don't know, man. I really don't like the one-drops that can't trade with 2-drops. And this is kind of... I really don't want to be sacrificing this. That's like... If every card had like sack it, tap it, sack it for treasure, it would be a little bit better. But that's something that I never want to use with this card. Never, ever, ever. Yeah, it is not good to play a 4-drop on turn 3 if it's gonna cost you a full card to do so. That is horrible, that is horrible. But sometimes it can be done if that's what you want. Like if you're 2 for 1-ing yourself, just to play something 1 mana sooner, 1 turn sooner, no thank you. Oh man, I mean oh man. Okay, I'm looking at this just from the aggro perspective, and I hope it finds a place, but until it does, I'm just on a D. I'm lower than anybody in the chat, I'm lower than Scotty. I just don't see anything. Punish X ones. Ooh, these punishes X ones. Wow.
So rude.
It's like... But you know what else punishes X-ones? Like anything small punishes X-ones. Anything that has first strike. Is first strike the best thing in the world now? Because it punishes anything that has the same or lower toughness? Woo. I don't see anything good about it. The only place where I think this is gonna be okay is like... I'm sorry, Annihilator. It's gonna be aggro where you can buff it a little bit. But yeah. I imagine hating dogs. I want a D for this. I don't see it.
I mean, I don't particularly love this card either. I don't think it's like, I don't think this is going to be necessarily an archetype staple. It's just there's a lot going on with this 1-drop.
A lot of bad things, I think.
I think I have a bias, which is bad, but I think it's a design philosophy from Wizards that they're pushing the power level in the lower drop cards. So I'm just having faith a little bit.
What do you like about it? Like, tell me. You didn't tell me one thing that you like about it. Like, yes, you can get to a 4-drop, which is horrible. That's like D minus. Tell me, like, one C- thing about this card.
One C- thing? I think it's the combination of a bunch of mediocre things. I think being able to chip in for like 2 to 3 damage-ish off of this small ball creature. The fact that you could potentially augment it, and the fact that you could potentially splash off of it once its relevance becomes... none once it becomes outmoded.
I mean, if you're splashing for things like, do you really care about like chipping in for damage with this?
Yeah, I think damage matters.
And then splash for the price of a full card?
I mean, I don't think it's like a great Magic card. Perhaps C+ is C- too high. What's up?
Wall of first strikers. That's... if this is gonna be... oh, that's so good, BTGR. A wall of first strikers with this thing. Oh my god. Okay. I mean, if you're gonna play something that's hyper aggro, I think that's where this definitely has a place. But I gotta see how good that is. I gotta see. Okay. Scotty? You're muted.
I know. Sorry, sorry. I was talking to Han a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Han was asking like if something is super D minus, why isn't it just an F? Um, I don't know why I muted myself if I'm just gonna relay what she said. I don't know why I just did that. Whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, like if something is like if I actually legitimately think and it never belongs in a deck ever, it's probably just an F. But
Absolutely,
we
absolutely.
it's okay. We have the D minus grade because we have compassion. Okay, for these poor cards, they have feelings too, and if we give them an F, they may never return to the game again. So we give them a D minus for a little bit of hope. Yeah, for a little bit of hope.
I'm fine with D minus cards not returning to the game.
Okay, Lola has no compassion. Okay, that's why Lola gives out more Fs than I do.
Scotty wants to have a set with 80% of D minus cards.
You just need to be nicer to the game that you play. Okay, just be kind person.
I am a kind person, and
Yeah, you just annihilated Annihilix. So annihilate.
that's true. That's true. But dog, I didn't give it a D minus. But if you ramped into a 4-drop, well, that's like a D minus thing to do.
Pretty bad. Jackhammer, 1 red, 2 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Equip 2. Heck yeah! Hey, look at that! You can combine with this with the dog,
Yes,
the
no.
gold dog, and it becomes a magic card. This card is stinky poop. D minus. I hate it.
Why does this exist, right? Like even a few years ago, we had like a +2/+0. This kind of thing, but it was colorless. It was all colorless. Why is it red?
I don't. Okay, so like this is the first card I'm actually legitimately looking at and thinking, I don't exactly know why this exists. Because normally when you're ranting about bad cards, I'm just like, okay, I can understand the flavor that they give to the set, right? You want to weaken removal to push other parts of the set. That makes sense to me. Like that's always made sense to me. Or like you want to like make sure that this is not like a role player, but you want it to be like a niche use card that you put in your deck sometimes to fulfill a certain role. I don't think this card fits anywhere at any time. And I'm giving this an F. I'm sorry, this is an F. I don't think this card ever fits. Like it doesn't fit in an aggressive deck. It doesn't really fit in a Flyers deck. It's just bad.
I don't think it's an F, man. I played cards like this in the past, and they're playable. But in the past, this was colorless. Like, what is going on? Like this set is higher power level than the previous set. Like, no, fuck the Bone Splitter, man. It's like what's the name?
It was called Bronze Sword, right?
Bronze Sword. I think it was an X.
Oh, it's not Bronze Sword. Never mind.
It's Bronze X. No,
Marauder's Axe. Marauder's Axe. You're right. It's called Marauder's Axe.
Marauder's X, right? So that was like a +2/+0, right? And that card was never good. That's the same thing, but it's colorless, and it was not good in a set that is infinitely lower in power level than this one. This is what befuddles me. Like, I don't understand. The cards are returning as weaker cards, like a lot weaker cards than what they were. And what they were 5 years ago, when the average power level was lower, definitely lower. Like, I don't get it. Sure, yeah, and I agree with Scotty. You push certain things in certain directions, but why put these? Why put this even in here? Weird. I don't know. I'm not a I'm not a designer, so maybe I don't understand. But weird. This card seems like horrible trash. It's D minus, but I'm not gonna put it on an F. I think it's playable, and there is that brass knuckles, but not sure why it exists. This is one of the few cards in this set that I'm not sure why it exists. Because this as colorless would be whatever. Maybe they just needed enough red cards and they just They were not sure what to do? Why are you talking about a Bone Splitter, guys? Bone Splitter is a completely different card. Bone Splitter is like 1 mana. We don't get Bone Splitters in most sets. We get a 2 mana to cast, 2 mana to equip, or something like that, +2/+0.
Splitter was a mistake, so
Yeah.
that was a mistake of a print.
Yeah, that was weird. So don't compare equipment to Bone Splitter, worse or better, because Bone Splitter should never be something, should never be a base, should never be a control for anything. It's Bone Splitter is whatever. Just fuck that card. Like, the equipment needs to be different than Bone Splitter. But weird thing, weird that this exists. Very weird.
Light them up. 1 red, sorcery, casualty 2. Light 'em up deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. This is a stinking sorcery. Wow. Casualty 2 as well instead of casualty 1? What the heck is this? Isn't this card horrendous? This card feels extraordinarily bad to me. What am I missing? So you can sacrifice, like you can tag team this with your bear. And like kill a thing that you want to kill sometimes. But sometimes they're just gonna have like a large keyword big creature that you can't even kill anyway. Dang, this card stinks. Oh, sorry, you can split it. You can split it. That makes sense. So you can deal 2 and 2 if you want to split it. So that's a little bit better. This is D+ for me.
Why do we have so many sorcery casualties, man? Isn't casualty like one of the more interesting mechanic to use when it's instant speed? Would you like, Scotty, would you like most of these for the set, like for the set, for what you think would be more interesting? Like, would you like these casualty cards to become instant speed, basically all of them? Or is it just me thinking about it?
I think a lot of them would be fine if they were just instants.
Yeah.
Including this one. I think this card would just be fine as an instant.
Yeah, I think this card would be. Yeah, I would like it a lot more, but it's not like it would be wow, completely overpowered, destroying, breaking the meta, blah blah blah. Removal would get a lot worse, right? That's what they were thinking, right? Okay, removal gets a lot worse with instant speed casualty stuff. And that could be infuriating to players, maybe that's what it was. But who cares about removal being good or bad? Like, opponent is stepped out a lot of times.
Okay, it's a bad. I have a bad judge of your character. I think when you said who cares, I half expected you to say who cares about new players.
No, oh my god, what the fuck? New players are extremely important. What the fuck? Like, we want to keep the game going. We don't want the game to die.
That's good. That's a good take. How do you like light them up?
I don't know. I don't care about it. It's never in a D range for me. It's like, I mean, why is this a sorcery speed? Jesus Christ! I'm on a C-, I guess. Why the fuck is this a sorcery speed card? Jesus Christ! Oh.
Roll 1 red for a double warrior that is a 1/2 with menace. When Mayhem Patrol attacks, target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn with blitz 1 and a red. This is heckin' powerful. Menace 2/2 attacker. Like it can't really block particularly well. It can trade off with some stuff, but like in general, like a 2/2 menace attacker already on its own is perfectly playable. And with the blitz on top of this, so in the late game, it's not completely irrelevant. You get to cantrip this for extra cards when it's irrelevant. That's super strong. This is premium. This is premium 2-drop at common C+.
Very premium. This is beautiful. Oh yeah. This is the casualty, man. In a bit of an aggro deck, this is really good for casualty. I love this card, and you can make other things bigger if you don't care about them blocking this. Man, I love this card. I really like it.
Can light him up go face? No, it can't. Okay.
No.
Sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely on C plus with this one as well. Beautiful card. C plus. This is gonna be great in red decks.
Plasma Jockey. Plasma Jockey is 3 in a red for a creature Viashino Warrior. It's a 3/1. When Plasma Jockey attack, target creature an opponent controls can't block this turn. Blitz, 2 in a red. Yeah, as we were talking about, we're pretty much all. I think we're both on the same page. Blitz is extremely powerful. As a 4-drop, as a 3/1, way less jazzed about this. I still think that this card is perfectly fine, perfectly playable. But I'm way less hot on it on its base rate and even blitzing it out. Like, I guess blitzing it out on turn 3. If you're an aggro deck, I'm not even like super happy about that, to be honest, because I would like to put a more consistent source of damage on the field. Like, but I could totally imagine like blitzing this out on like turn 5 and like hopefully double spelling with it at the same time. This is fine. This is C- for me. I'm not clamoring to pick up a ton of these, but if this makes the deck, I'm not unhappy.
I mean, Nagra, I really like this. It's kind of a top end, right?
Yeah. This is perfectly fine there.
Now, there are some other things that help you make creatures unable to block in red as well. So there's gonna be some good aggro things in red. That Hounds might as well be really good. Like if red aggro is prevalent, which it could be. Then like just menace and first strike, sure, whatever. Just menace, first strike doesn't really matter that much. Is gonna be irritating. Now, as Cody said, on turn 3 in early game, you really want to affect the board. You don't want to deal damage to face, unless you are also affecting the board and getting the tempo on the board, getting the mana on the board. So you don't want to blitz this ever in aggro early game. Like sometimes you're just gonna do it, you have nothing else to do, that's fine. But if you, any other play is probably better. So dealing early damage in aggro is less important than developing the board and trying to snowball, right? Snowball is the thing for aggro. Not just like, oh, I'm gonna deal a lot of damage on one turn and I'm never gonna deal damage again. Because opponent now has more creatures than me and they're gonna block. I don't think there are that many tokens in this set. I'm gonna C for this one. I think it's a really good card in aggro, and anywhere else it's bad. It's just very bad. But C, so on average C. Sorry?
We are talking about Ready to Rumble, 4 red for sorcery. Choose one. Ready to Rumble deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or destroy target artifact. Yeah, this is pretty much like completely unexciting at everything it does, in every capacity. 5 mana, clear out a large blocker if you need it. Sometimes aggressive decks need that, but I'm never happy about it, and I would prefer, even in an aggressive deck, to probably run combat tricks that are cheaper. If I have to put this in my more mid-rangey controlling deck, it's because I don't really have a lot of interaction, or I'm lacking playables in general. So this is a D+ for me.
Yeah, D+ as well, whatever. But there are some artifacts that's like fine. Nice to have that option.
What was your plasma jockey grade?
The last one?
Yep.
C. I think
C?
it's really good
Okay.
in aggro.
Okay. Riveteer's Initiate. Riveteer's Initiate.
Oh wait.
Sorry.
Oh, we're done with this?
Yeah.
No, I just want to say just one thing. Why is this not an instant
Wait,
speed?
sorry.
Why
Wait,
is this
sorry,
not an
what's
instant speed card? Right? Why not? Like that. This is fine removal in aggressive decks. In non-aggressive decks, it's whatever. But in aggressive decks, like 5 mana, if it does kill basically anything, that's a fine thing to have. But why not instant speed is the question.
So what it says to me, right? The fact that there's so much sorcery speed removal and that they seem to be shying away from instants. Typically in the past, that's meant like they want to protect a cool main set mechanic that can be disrupted at instant speed, right? But I don't see any of that in the set, right?
I don't see anything. Yeah.
There's nothing like super cool that we're doing at like sort of like, you know, something like perhaps like mutating, right? If they don't want people to disrupt doing cool stuff with like something like mutate.
But mutate was
I don't.
great when it was disrupted, right? You play the
Yeah.
creature for less mana. Ooh, that's
Well,
pretty
okay,
good.
mutate was a bad example. Let's say there was like an aura based cool mechanic or something, right? Um, but I don't see any of that here, so I
Nope,
don't really know what's going on.
not sure.
Riveter's Initiate, 1 red for creature of Yoshino Citizen. It's a 2/2. Riveter's Initiate gets Death Touch until end of turn. Sorry for for 2 mana. This is fine. This is a pretty normal bear. Like it costs mana to give it Death Touch, but the Death Touch is sort of a nice upside. This is a C minus for me.
C minus?
Yep. The fact it's bear that can eventually trade up if you sink a little bit of mana into it is fine.
Is citizen.
It's gonna play a role.
I'm on a D plus. I don't care about this, but it's a card that can make the deck. Not gonna be super unhappy with it. Just a D plus.
Sticky Fingers, red for Enchantment Aura. Enchanted creature has menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to the player, create a treasure token. And when enchanted creature dies, draw a card. The fact that it's a dice trigger instead of an enters trigger, well, if it was an enters, it'd be super busted. But like the fact that it holds your card hostage until it dies is like not something to sneeze at. That's relevant. You're going to be down a card until this actually dies. That being said, I think this card is powerful. I think this card does a reasonable amount of things. You can't stack up on too many of these, therefore I don't want to necessarily slam dunk them super highly. But because like you do need like the creatures to slap them on, right? But I'm totally happy running multiples of these. I think this is quite powerful, and I do want my deck to be pretty low to the ground. The fact that it adds menace onto itself, so it like allows it to get itself in more, is nice. But I think this is going to be a really good effect. This is a lot to do with just 1 mana, and the fact that it can basically refund itself on the turn that you play it is beautiful. I think this is pretty close to. You know, I'm just gonna go in. We're going in. I'm going in on a C plus for this one.
Oh,
I think
I'm
this
on a
card
C
actually
plus as
does
well.
enough. Yeah.
I'm on a C plus as well. This card is beautiful. I like it a lot. It's not overpowered. Playing 9 of these? Yeah, right. And then what if you draw few? Like, your creature needs to die. Your creature really, really needs to die. But yeah, this enables a lot of splashing, ramps the next turn. And yeah, this thing is gonna draw your card, so I really, really like this. I'm playing 9 of these, I'm Opera. Yeah, okay. Uh, definitely on a C+. Beautiful card. Very interesting. This one of the favorite cards in the set for me, even though I don't think it's even close to being the most powerful.
Strangle, red, sorcery. Strangle deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So this does a couple things, right? This can very efficiently clear out small blockers in the beginning of the game for aggressive decks, right? Which is not necessarily what aggressive decks need the most, right? They typically need to clear out the cards that quote unquote generate quote unquote virtual card advantage, the ones that stop multiple blockers from getting in there, and usually those have more than 3 toughness. So this doesn't necessarily fit that role. In fact, I think the role it fits probably better is in a slower red deck that you want to go ahead and make sure that you survive the early game, to trade off for the opponent's aggressive curve outs for extremely efficient. That being said, this card does a lot for 1 mana, even if it's a sorcery. The sorcery is a reasonable knock against it, but this card is this card will get the job done, you know, when you want it to fill that certain role. You can't have 6 of these in your deck and say, oh, I have enough removal, right? Because oftentimes you're not going to be able to remove the things that you actually want to be removing as the game scales to the late game. C plus for me.
So, I'm on a C plus as well. And I think this is great in aggro as well. It's like 1 mana, so you can double spell with it. So you're getting the tempo advantage a lot of times with that. It's great in slower decks, but it's great in aggro because of that reason, right? You're all about the tempo in that early mid to mid game. And this helps out. Scotty?
Witty Roastmaster, 2 red, 3 mana for a creature Devil Citizen. It's a 3/2 with Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Witty Roastmaster deals 1 damage to each opponent. The effect doesn't look super impactful, but I think it'll add up. I think this staying on the battlefield does add up. They also stack very, very well. Like when you get the second one on the battlefield, then all of a sudden, like even if your opponent stabilizes with creatures on the ground, they sort of have to answer these. Um, I like this card. I do like this card. The fact that it's like it probably can trade off on curve, being a 3/2, so it's not super embarrassing stats, and the fact you can like get incidental chip damage in is effects I think is perfectly fine, and I think this is a C for me.
I'm on a C minus. I like the effect. I really don't like the stats, but yeah, in aggressive decks it's pretty good if you can have multiples. It does get better, so it might go up to a C for me, even a C plus depending how the set plays out, depending what you have in your deck, right? Getting those citizens for treasure tokens, that's pretty damn cool. And if you can do that and maybe have the treasure maker, yeah, this can do a lot of work. But gonna start with a C minus.
Wrecking Crew, 4 red, 5 mana for a creature, human warrior. It's a 4/5 with reach and trample. It's a little bizarre of a card. It's a little bizarre. It's not a citizen. It looks like a citizen. It has a civilian job, but it's not a citizen. It's a warrior. Okay. This is reasonable. The reach is nice. I'm a little concerned with what exactly deck wants this at the 5-drop slot. You know, like I don't want this in my proactive blitz decks. You know, like I want to be like blitzing out things where like finishing the game by this point, not playing a 4/5 that can defend myself versus flyers. But it's not embarrassing as a Magic card. I think this is a D plus for me. Like I think this does enough, and if it has a home, it could get better than a D plus. But for now, just looking at the card and what it does, just a little underwhelming on all fronts and a 5-drop.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it has a home. Yeah, this is like the spider 5-drop that we usually have on steroids. But that spider 5-drop is nothing special. And it's red, right? So I don't know how grindy red decks are gonna be. If it finds a home, as Scotty said, could be better, but D plus, and I'm thinking it's probably go down to a D. I don't see red right now. Maybe it's gonna change, but don't see it like needing a defensive 5-drop. Okay, we are on to the uncommons. And the first one is call in a professional for 2 and a red. It's an instant speed. Players can't gain life this turn. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Call in professional. Call in a professional deals 3 damage to any target. Shield counters don't prevent this damage as they are removed. Ah, okay. So this doesn't get around the shield counters. Okay. Shield counters are not damage prevention. They just get removed instead of the damage being dealt, right?
No, it's saying it'll still deal damage and the shield counter gets removed.
Yeah, but the creature is gonna survive.
If it's a 3/3 with a shield counter, the creature will die.
Let me see.
It breaks the shield and deals the damage at the same time. Yes.
Let me see.
It does both simultaneously. Shield breaker.
No way. If it would be dealt damage or destroyed, remove a shield counter from it instead. Right?
I think you have to look into the technical rules of shield. Like the reminder text probably doesn't tell you, but I think shield counters technically work by preventing it as they're removed. So since it can't be prevented, it'll deal the damage and remove the counters.
Yeah, let me see. Shield MTG. Let's see. Shield counter.
I think they
MTG.
shorthanded in the reminder text. But you're right. If you look at it on a shield card, it probably won't be super obvious.
Rulings. Shield counters won't work if the damage is unpreventable. Oh, a shield counter will be removed. Okay. Oh, so it does prevent the damage.
Yeah, I think that's the only way it will work in the Magic rules.
So it's just not worded that way, but it is damage prevention.
They're just kind of shorthanded on the card, I think.
What?
They're just trying to lessen the amount of text on the shield cards. That's all.
Okay, okay. So the damage is prevented. Oh, I really wish that it said prevent. I really wish that. Like, those words are so important in Magic. It's so important. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's just an extra. Why not? 3 damage to any target is always fine. Can't gain life. I mean, if something is on the stack where they do gain life, why not? Yeah, I like this card a lot. Solid C+ for me.
C+ for me as well.
Not mana efficient, doesn't kill a lot of things, so I'd never put these cards like this on a B-. Glittering Stockpile for 2 and a red. It's an artifact treasure that says tap, add a red, and put a stash counter on this. You can also tap it and sacrifice it, and add X mana of any color, any one color, where X is the number of stash counters on Glittering Stockpile. Well, I thought this was gonna make treasures. Because right now it looks like S. Right now it looks like an F. And I don't know where it's gonna be a D-. It does look like an F. You're paying 3, you're not even getting a mana rock, you're not even getting like... You're getting a land that you... a source that you already have. And then sure, after a few turns you can just lose this card forever. Man, I thought this was... Oh, I for some reason I thought it was treasures. Then you could have some combos, you can use it for late game. I don't see myself ever playing this. I don't know where. Oh, you know what's interesting? Yeah. Old Master just said, 1 second, for the calling the professional. So you don't have to target something that has a shield counter. If they block something, if you block a shield, if you're just in combat and an opponent's creature has a shield counter, you don't have to deal 3 damage to the shield counter creature, right? Your damage, your combat damage is gonna kill the shield creature without caring about the shield counter. That's pretty cool. And the shield counter gets removed because the damage is trying to get prevented, right? Okay, that's pretty cool. This is shit. This is like a D-, and is it an F, Scotty?
No, I don't think it's quite an F.
Oh yeah, D-.
But, I mean, it's not good.
It's horrible.
You want a D- for this?
Yeah, it's horrible.
I want a D-. I despise this card a lot. I hate that it was printed. I wish I could unprint this card.
Yeah.
And if you have your rants about bad cards, I can give me 10 seconds to rant about this card.
Sure, let's go.
It's what Daryl was saying. It's a treasure, and it doesn't do the treasure thing. It can't sack itself immediately for mana. Like this is the first of like the card type that doesn't do its thing, I think. Which I think is important to maintain in Magic, where if you see the type line treasure, you know what a treasure does, which is tap to sack to add a mana. Same with like food, same with like what's the other one? Clues, blood, you know, stuff like that. I guess. You know, the cards that have like a types, I think it's good to be consistent, and the fact that this doesn't do the thing is very bizarre.
I don't care about it. Moving away from that can add to complexity.
Sure.
Like if you're gonna have treasures with different effects, not just sack it to gain that, then like cards that work with treasures can be more interesting with that one. So
they're giving yourself like a little bit of design flexibility. I like the fact that they do stuff like Goldhound. You know, you can still create different cards, and I think there's a lot of design space there without actually breaking that fundamental rule. Like treasure means nothing now. It could be anything. It could be a unicorn.
Why not? I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine.
I hate it.
This card is just trash, but if it adds to complexity, yes. I'm all in. Whatever. Do whatever you want. Involuntary employment for 3 and a red. It's a sorcery, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn, create a treasure token. Well, there are casualty cards, huh? Yeah, I mean, yep. This is good. This is good. It's like 3 mana. This is good in this set. Yep. I'm gonna have it as a C-, and these cards usually get like a D or a D-. Yeah. This is fine as uncommon. I don't think this needs to be. Oh, no. This is fine. This is fine as uncommon. You're gonna have casualty just like that, but it would be fun to have it as a common, just to have more consistency in getting it. C- for this set. Casualty, sack, it's all there. Does cost mana, but still nice. I like it. What do you say, Scotty?
I'm wondering if I'm higher on this card. I'm wondering. The extra treasure token is pretty stinking nice. It's basically cost 3 in tandem with other casualty cards. I'm pretty close to C. I'm a big believer. Let's go C. Let's be bold today.
If this was
C for
common, it would be C for me, because you can base your pick decisions on getting this card. But since it's an uncommon, you can't do that. And if you take it on common, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna take like 1 or 2 more, and then I'm gonna build like a little bit around it. But when you take 1, you can't really expect to get more, since it is uncommon. So you can't.
No, I don't think it's a matter of getting more of this type of effect, because this is just like another payoff with other small sack things. So like I think that this is just another thing you would like to sack with your sack fodder. So you just pick up sack fodder and you pick up like 1 of this, and that's fine. That's still an overlap in a cohesive deck.
Yeah, that's completely fine, but still. I still think that it's important that it is uncommon, because getting more of this is important in some decks, right? Sack is not just it's not just gonna be sack anything, do whatever you want with the sacks, nah. I think this this set has a bit of it, but it's not like you got a ton of things that you can sack. This and the 2 mana, I mean, this and anything with casualty, really. Not bad. Pugnacious Pugilist for 3 and double red. It's a 4/4 that says when it attacks, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, and you can blitz it for 4 mana. Okay, so 5 mana 4/4 attacks, makes that 1/1 that's attacking. That's pretty stinking good. That's really nice. I think that's really nice. That card is always it's always an impactful creature. Then you got Blitz 4, right? So you pay 4 mana for a 1/1 or devil, right? That has haste and has to attack this turn, right? That's the creature you're keeping. And a 4/4 that has haste and has to attack, basically. That's gonna draw you 1 card. So you get that 1/1 that's attacking, you draw a card, you get a 4/4. This is amazing. Yeah, man, this card, this looks so funny, I gotta say. It's such a small head. It's smaller than the arm, than the hand. So sorry, smaller than the hand. Look at that shoulder. Yeah, this is a B-. I fucking love this card. Maybe a B even. Scotty.
I think it's a B-. I think it is better, like meaningfully, like a half grade better than the common 5-drop in black.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like B level much better than it. Like if you think this card's a B level, then the other card's probably a B-.
I don't know. I mean, because you don't have to blitz this. You can just
it's a lot better when you play it, because you can attack multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's better than really. Sometimes it's better when you play. Like, this is a real choice here. Like, if you expect to attack multiple times or have some tricks to back it up, removal maybe, whatever, then it's not bad at all.
The B- for me as well. It's good.
Yeah, a high B-. Pyre Sledge Arsonist for 2 and a red. It's a 2/2 that says for 1 and a tap, this card deals X damage to any target, or X is the number of permanents you sacrifice this turn. Okay. Works with Blitz, works with Casualty, works with Treasures. Guys, before you vote, works with Treasures. I'm gonna repeat that a few times. That is the most important thing about it. Oh, works with tap lands as well.
Bam.
Bada boo babo.
Works with Nahiri's lithoforming.
Works with whatever that card is. What is that card?
No, it's just from Zen. I don't know why I thought about it. It's the one that sacks all your
Aha.
lands from Zendikar Rising.
Okay. Yeah. Works with Treasures. Up. Man, I'm gonna put this card on a freaking B minus. But in some decks it's gonna be like a D minus or an F. And in some decks it's gonna be probably higher than that. It's probably gonna be a B.
Sounds like Lola, I could interest you in a lower grade and a ceiling grade.
Okay, what ceiling would you give it?
I would give it a B minus as a ceiling, or a B as a ceiling. Let's go B with a ceiling.
B with a ceiling?
And I would probably take this at a C.
And I'm buying. I'm gonna put it on a C plus though, with a ceiling of a B. Alright, ceiling seems fine. Riveteer's Requisitioner for 1 and a red. It's a 3/1 that says when it dies, create a treasure token, and it has a blitz for 3. Alright. 2 mana 3/1 makes a treasure token, beautiful. 3 mana 3/1 haste that draws you a card and dies and makes a treasure token, also pretty good. This is a card, man. This is a card. B minus, easy, very easy. This is great in aggro, great in non-aggro, great in mid-range, great in great. Yes.
Yeah, this card's pretty bonkers, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's so miserable to trade off with this on turn 2. You cast this on turn 2 and then you attack with it, and they're just like, okay, I really just don't want to block this thing. Woo! Yeah, this is premium 2-drop. B minus for me as well.
You know what? When you're aggro, it's even scarier to trade with it. Like, when you're aggro, you kind of have to block, opponent kind of has to block your 3/1 on turn that you're playing on turn 2. But it's even scarier if you're gonna develop the board more than them and you're aggro. And most things in your deck are focused on developing the board and keeping the board advantage in the first like 6, 7, 8 turns. So, yeah, man, this is... And just blocking with this, like, oh, this is so good. You gave it a B minus as well?
B minus as well.
Okay. Rob the Archives. Oh, by the way, this card that we just saw is worse than a green common with a similar effect, so that's something. Rob the Archives for 1 and a red. It's a casualty 1, sorcery. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Well, this is kinda... This is interesting. This is piece of shit, man.
Nice.
F. Unplayable.
Oh! What? Actual F?
Yes.
Wow. I agree that this isn't great, but like, dang, this is not a bad card as a. I think this has a pretty nice home in a low curve red deck, and like a lot of low curve red decks actually. This is a pretty great way to refuel after your early game stuff has been stonewalled. But I'm on a D plus for this. But that's way far off from an F.
This is this
If your
turn,
average, if like your curve stops, like if you have like 1 or 2 4-drops and the rest of your curve is like pretty stinking low, like I'm pretty happy about spending 2 mana and then playing out a land and like casting 2 cards off of this.
And you got a sacrifice a creature.
Yeah, that's already blanked, which is the natural course of the game.
Oh my god. It's
Yeah.
this turn. I mean, how much mana do you have to do anything? What if you're extremely aggressive? Like, And this being your top end, why do you play this as your top end? This is like, if you're extremely, okay, let's say you're extremely aggressive, right? And then you're thinking, it's horrible in any other deck. Is that correct, Scotty?
Yeah, it's pretty stinking bad.
Okay. Would Divination be better in that aggressive deck than this?
Would Divination be better?
3 mana, draw
Than
2
that.
cards.
No, because I think this has like some. Well, I can't point to another uncommon. It's not fair to point to another uncommon and say it has synergy. Like, look, Act of Treason. That doesn't work. That's not consistent enough.
This has no synergy with Act of Treason. You're using 2 cards to kill something, and you're gonna play a land from the top of your library, and that's it.
Yeah.
Great synergy.
And my gold buddy.
2 for 1 yourself.
My gold dog.
And gold dog.
It's probably I'm lower to a D. You've convinced me.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just asking you, like, how do you feel? Would you rather have in your aggressive deck this thing that you gotta cast extreme Ladium to get anything, or and probably sack a creature as well, or draw 2 cards for 3 mana?
I think you'd rather have this card than Divination in your low curve aggressive red deck.
Really? And you're like,
Yep.
you're trying to get those small creatures, like 1-drops, 2-drops, but you're sacking one of them already. Man, I don't think this is playable at all. Okay, F, horrible. Sizzling Soloist for 3 and a red, a 3/2 alliance that says whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature an opponent controls can't block this turn. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, that creature attacks during its controller's next combat phase if able. Ooh, that's interesting for an aggressive deck. That's a fine top end, it seems to me. Okay. So you don't target the same creature just because it. Usually when we get cards like this, it's the same creature or something. So you play 1 creature, something can't block. I mean, that's already great. This doesn't have to attack for that. And then you play another one, and another creature can't block, right? That's 2 you play that 2/1 that makes a 1/1 and replace some things that the other 2 creatures. There are few, not that many, but few. And common in red, for example, a common card. And that other creature, let's say you're aggressive, which you should be if you're playing this. That means 2 creatures are not blocking, and one of them, sure, it attacks. Maybe you can make a trade or something. But that creature is not gonna block next turn as well. So next turn, even if you play only 1 creature, well, now they lose 2 blockers still. So this second effect is nice. Exactly. That is nice. Okay, the stats are horrible, but I feel like this is really nice in aggressive decks. I'm gonna give it a C+, man. Even though the stats are horrible.
I'm also on a C+. This card has a lot. has basically a lot going for it.
If it was a 3/3, I think it would go to a B- for me. Yes, 2 can't block, 1 must attack. Torchbread for X and a red. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue permanent. Can't be countered. It deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. Can't target face. Great for blue. And when I say great, I mean whatever. It's fine. It's like 1 mana, 2 damage. 2 mana, 3 damage. This card seems mediocre. It is removal. I'm gonna give it a C-, sure. Its removal is bad removal.
A C. I think I'll give this a C. The base effect is unexciting. The discount is, I mean, if you do discount something, it's pretty important, honestly. Like, having the 2 cost reduction on it, like, actively makes it good, but the fact that you don't get that, like, 60% of the time,
Yeah.
still a C for me. This is like the worst of the cycle of the cards I think I've seen.
More than 60% of the time. It's not just about the opponent playing the blue deck, it's about them playing a blue creature that you want to remove.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And the thing, Flame Discharge, right, was something that you could have consistently have. And it was still nothing that special, it was just fine. But Flame Discharge was something that you know you're going to be able to do in your deck in Kamigawa, right? You're going to have a counter, you're going to have an equipment that triggers this kind of discount. Exactly this kind of discount. Unlucky Weakness. For a red, you got a 1/1 that says when he dies, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until your next end step, you may play one of those cards. Okay, where did this come from? We got a nice sec fodder in red. Alright. Well, that's interesting. Until your next end step. Okay, it's pretty fucking good. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. It's nice to sec, it's nice to chump, it's even fine to attack with, right? It's only 1 mana. This is the thing that I like. I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna start it with a C and then gets much higher depending on what your deck is doing, if you have some casualty and so on. It's much better with casualty at instant speed. I'm gonna give it a C. But it can go higher depending on if you got good discard that is actually gonna keep your mana open if it's sorcery, or if it's gonna keep you or if it's instant speed. But you can just block with this. That's also fine. What do you say, Scotty?
I think this card does everything.
Yeah.
I think C is very low, to be honest. I think as a 1-drop, this is highly desirable. Like, you know, fits into basically anywhere on your curve. Chumping with this as a fail case is still very, very good. In fact, this enables a lot of different... I think it has a nice cross-section of a bunch of different decks. So I'm actually on a B- for this. I'm like mega high on this card. I would take them extraordinarily early, and I think they're extremely desirable.
It is one of those cards.
Yep.
It's not both.
Oh.
Okay.
I would do a C+.
At first I thought it was
right.
both. Did you think it was both?
I thought it was both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That definitely would push it up for sure.
It's very, very good though, I think.
Okay, we're on to the rares, and Scotty, you got the lead. To start with this, let's get through this card quickly. Get to the good ones.
1 second, pulling up Scryfall, yeah? Arcane Bombardment. 4, red. Enchantment. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery each turn, exile an instant or sorcery at random from your graveyard, then copy each card exiled with Arcane Bombardment. You may cast any number of the copies without paying their mana costs. So like if you have a bunch of removal spells in your deck, you eventually remove everything and then you stop having targets after 6 mana. And if you have a bunch of draw spells, you deck yourself out. Nice. F.
Wait, why do you mill yourself?
Well, because you're drawing a ton of cards. Oh, you may cast. You don't have to cast them. You're right. Okay, fine. You don't. You're doing nothing instead. Cool.
Wait, I don't get it. What's going on? Why would you ever mill yourself or?
Same. You would deck yourself out because like I forgot the May part, so you're not forced to draw a bazillion cards, but instead you're doing nothing. So that's a cool F.
How are you drawing anything? Wait, what card? What?
I said if you have a bunch of draw spells in your deck, then you could draw a bunch of cards, essentially.
All right, man. Okay. Wait, so, okay, just 1 second. I think I read this card wrong. So, whenever you cast your first instant sorcery each turn, exile an instant sorcery card at the end from your graveyard, then copy each result with this. You may cast any number of the... Oh, man! At first I was angry at this card. Oh, I know what happened. I think it was not English, I'm pretty sure. And then the translations are sometimes wrong, very wrong, right? Like, right, there's a... there's not any number of the copies, for example, or things like that. Man, this doesn't seem bad now that I look at it. Okay. So just copying the cards is nice, but man, any number. So first time you get a free spell. Free, you paid
Snowball.
fucking 6 mana, right?
It's a snowball.
It snowballs. It snowballs very quickly.
So,
Each
like, I think the important part about this, if you want to break it down, is that on your first cast doubles.
Yeah.
Doubles up something,
Yeah.
at least.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Man, I'm gonna be playing with this card a lot. Okay, I thought this was horrible. Oh, I thought it was just one of those cards. And then it's like, if it's one of those cards, that's 6 mana that you freaking paid for it. That's too much. What do you give it?
I don't understand how this sweetens the pot for you. I give it an F.
Because, like, if you do get things going, like, if you got enough instants and sorceries, then you are gonna be casting, like, you play that instant and you cast like 3 cards that were exiled with this.
3 turns after you cast your 6-drop?
Fuck me, yeah. Yeah. What you gonna do about it?
Kill you.
That's a good comeback. I believe there is gonna be okay, man. This is the card that I'm gonna first pick over anything, and I'm gonna announce. I'm gonna announce that should not be done. That should not be done. But it's what I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna tell the chat, you don't do this if you wanna win. I still think, no joke, that this is a C+. No joke. On average.
I think this is worse than double vision.
I do not. Ha. And it's main. Ooh. This is interesting, man. Double vision was shit as well, though. That's the fucked up thing.
Double vision was not good. I played that card all the time. I'm very familiar.
I know, man.
This card is worse than double vision.
Oh, I know it's probably is worse. Oh wait, I need this card to be good. I need it to have a place.
You need this for your body.
Oh yes. 6 mana does literally nothing, and then it doesn't do enough next turn, and then it maybe doesn't do enough the next turn. And then it does enough, like, if you did cast that. I'm gonna give it a D+, because I'm a believer. Like, this probably shouldn't be getting D+. Oh man, I'm gonna fucking make a deck. I can't wait. This is the card that I'm excited about playing the most out of everything in this set. Okay.
Devilish Valet. 2 red for 3 mana. For a creature, Devil Warrior. It's a 1/3. It has trample and haste. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, double Devilish Valet's power until end of turn. Cast your first creature, or another 1 creature enters, becomes a 2/3. Your second creature enters, becomes a 4/3. Your third creature enters, bam, you get a 8/3. Obviously, you can scale this on its own. You can add +1/+1 counters onto this to grow this in size, etc., etc. On its own, this card is bad. Like, quite bad. Like, it's a 1/3 haste, sure. And if you, like, typical case, cast 1 creature out a turn, it's a 2/3 on attacks only. Congratulations. I think this is bad. I think this is heckin' bad. This is a D for me.
So what if we cast 5 creatures?
Oh, dang. Bam, 16. Get pummeled.
Now what if you equip it first?
Equipping first is spicy. See, that's where you jackhammer. You see?
Yeah. That's like
That's where the jackhammer
get
is.
it to a 3 or 2. Get it to a 3 or 3. Then play 2 creatures. That's 6. That's 12. What if you plus exit?
Ooh, we know our times tables.
Oh baby, yeah. What if you?
Oh yeah.
What if you've known him for a while now? What if you give it a +4 +3 and then it's a 5? I mean, this is a lot of work, but I don't know. Not a big fan, I gotta say. But what if you have treasures and the Gruul card that can let you sack treasures and get creatures like that? So you play one from your hand and then you pop, sack and win. And hopefully you maybe play a trick there, right? Let's say you have 3 treasures lying around. You did your work, right? 3 treasures. You put a trick on this. This is a 5. Bam. That's what? 40 damage.
It's a drinking game of how many times you said if during that sentence.
Yeah, this is not very good. But there are gonna be things like this to do with it. I'm gonna put it on a D+. But then if you got some equipment and ways to buff it, it gets better. But it's kind of... If you're gonna work for that, this better like deal a ton of damage. But just a D+, this like whatever card. Okay, next one.
Better at least be a 3/3. I can at least make this a 3/3 consistently on its own. Then I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Horde Hauler, 3 red for an artifact vehicle. It's a 5/5 with trample. Whenever Horde Hauler deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure for each artifact they control. Crew 3. Could potentially be 0. You could whack them and make no treasures whatsoever, which is a little sad. That's a tiny bit sad. And the fact, okay, so like 4 mana, 5/5 trample with Crew 3, right? We're talking like on par with Futurist Sentinel from Kamigawa, right? Like that was a 6/6, but this is trample. Sure, trade off. I think that the artifact clause won't be incredibly relevant. It's also unreliable. And I think this card is pretty stinking medium. I think this is a pretty medium magic card, so I think I'm going to put this on a C-.
But what if opponent has a lot of treasures?
Yeah, and then you get a bunch of treasures.
Oh. What do you give it?
A C-.
There are not many
generous.
artifacts in this set, guys, except treasures. There's just not many artifacts.
No, forget it. D+.
Yeah, I think.
Forget this card.
I think this is D-. Okay, not D-. A D or a D+. This card is kind of poopy. I mean, if they sack all the treasures, that's completely fine. I mean, but they got a choice as well. I don't think I think this is a D-. I mean, this is horrible.
You sold
Like-
me D.
It's like 5.
This card's
4
not very
mana
good.
5/5 would be a good card. 4 mana 5/5 trample crew 3 better have some really powerful effect there, because it's like you're gonna have to tap your 3-drop, and not even every 3-drop can crew this. You're gonna have to tap either your 3-drop or 4-drop or 2 2-drops or a 3-drop and a 2-drop to do anything with this. And crew 3 is huge, so you're gonna kind of realize probably how huge crew 3 is in sets like these. You don't even have the pilots or something. But I think people realized it in the last set as well, when the 3/4 flyer couldn't really be crewed that easily. Okay. Crew 3 sucks, yes.
Jaxus, the Troublemaker. 3 red, 4 mana for a legendary creature, Human Warrior. It's a 2/3. Red, tap, discard a card. Create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains haste, and when this creature dies, draw a card. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery, and you can blitz it for 1 and a red.
So create like a blitz
This?
creature, right?
This? So, like, okay, the 1 mana, tap, right? You discard a card, you essentially rummage, right? Like a sort of worst-ish case scenario, you rummage. Because you discard a card and at the end of the turn you draw a card. Which is very, very good. And the fact on top of that, you get to double a creature at sorcery speed only, so like it enables attacks and stuff, but still, this card is, I think this card is bonkers. I think this card is bonkers. Incredibly, incredibly good. I think you have to answer this, otherwise this sort of spirals out of control. Worst case scenario, sorry, for some reason I thought it was 3 mana initially, to initially cast it, so I thought it was a 3 mana 2/3. A little bit less hot on this, but still the effect is very, very strong. I think this is a B+.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's like, okay, if you're gonna compare it to Reflections of Kiki-Jiki from the new Kamigawa, just from the enchantment, also a creature part, right, for when it flips, this effect is just strictly better in every single way. So of course it's better to draw a card when that thing dies, so that's an easy one. But Rummage is like you gotta pay the cost for that. It's not like just drawing a cards. But Rummage is strictly better than not rummaging there. So that's pretty fucking good. In most situations. 99% of situations. Oh, activate only as sorcery. Oh.
Don't insult Kiki-Jiki like that.
I mean, Kiki-Jiki also has the first 2 steps, so...
Kiki-Jiki is the bomb.
It has the first 2 steps as well. I mean, that's a big difference. I'm just talking about the last step. Oh, it's sorcery.
How are you supposed to how are you supposed to chain Kiki-Jikis if it was sorcery only? That's the whole point. You get 2 Kiki-Jikis on the battlefield and you chain them off.
The reflections.
Yeah, the reflections.
Yeah.
Not comparable. Get out of here.
Yeah. This card is still broken. It's like a solid B+. Like, this card is completely broken. It's crazy how powerful it is. It's just crazy how powerful this is. I don't think it's quite a bomb yet, but it's very close. It is very close to being a bomb. And just their ETB effects and everything as always. This is crazy, 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 crazy powerful.
Professional Facebreaker. Nice. 2 red for a 3 mana total for a creature human warrior. It's a 2/3 with menace. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Hold on, am I still connected? Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay, cool. And you can sacrifice a treasure, exile top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. This is a heckin' 3-drop. So like it's evasive, creates treasures when you connect, and also those treasures draw you a card. But bam. This is phenomenal. I think this is pretty close to a bomb. I do think it's better than Jax's, for me. But I still think I'm putting this at a B+. But I love it.
It's 1 or more, so I don't think it's better than the last card. I'm on a super solid B+. I don't think this is bomb. I think this one is better. I think it's just better. The Jax's.
It's better. Plus less.
Huh?
It's a 3-drop, yeah.
Yeah, that's a 3-drop. But that card is gonna be broken with so many cards in this set. The other one, right? With that effects, with enter the battlefield effects. This is very good, but sometimes you're just not gonna be connecting that much, and sometimes you're gonna connect once, right? And even if you connect with 3 creatures, it's gonna be just 1 treasure token, which all of those are really, really nice effects. But I don't see why bomb. What's up with the bomb grades on everybody and Scotty?
And Scotty? I had a B+. I'm the same as you.
You said it's you want to give it a bomb grading almost.
Well, almost. Like, I think this has immediate board impact. It's cheaper. It's efficient for its mana cost. It turns irrelevant late game resources into relevant ones.
It's a weak creature with a good effect.
I think it's a great effect. I think it's a crazy
great effect. It's a weak creature with a great effect, right? So you're also kind of playing it for the effect.
Did you say it's a weak creature?
2/3 menace is crap for 3 mana.
I think 2/3 menace for 3 mana is perfectly fine.
I think that's crap. I think that has been crap for a very, very long time in Magic now.
Day Night Devils is great.
Alright. Let's go to the next one.
Like Felidar Prowler too, mind you. Structural Assault. 3 red red. 5 mana for a sorcery. Destroy all artifacts. Then Structural Assault deals damage to each creature equal to the number of artifacts that were put into graveyards from the battlefield this turn. Um. Um. Huh. So like you blow up all your treasures and then you destroy the board. You destroy you can cast this when they have treasures and destroy the board because it counts the ones that are sacrificed before it resolves too. F.
F. Who is giving this a D? Guys, come on. What the hell are you thinking about? Like, there's not that many artifacts here. What is this? Ball Rap, that's the most unreliable card in, I don't know, in this set probably. Built around this is make play a lot of artifact creatures, so you kill 5 of them, so you can heal 2 of the opponent's creatures. That's a build around for this. 6 for 1 yourself, and maybe have a treasure, so lose that as well, and kill opponent's 2 or 3 creatures. That's a build around. 6 for 3 yourself. That's a build around for this card. So yeah, it can be built around. I hope you do, and I hope you play against me.
Urabrask, Heretic Praetor. 3 red red. For a legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor, it's a 4/4 with haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You may play this card this turn. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, the next time they would draw a card this turn, instead they exile the top card of their library. They may play it this turn. What this says is basically you kind of draw 2 cards a turn, right? You draw one normally, and then you draw one that you have to cast immediately. You impulse for 1. And then it basically says that when they draw on their turn, they have to cast it this turn. So
and you're gonna see everything that they're gonna have.
Yeah. So like, oh well, yeah, because they have to cast it, right? They have to just play it out. This card is quite good. I think this card is very, very strong. I think the rate as a 5 mana 4/4 haste is reasonable. I think that's already perfectly fine, and the effect is quite good. They basically like can't get any combat tricks. They can't get any counter spells. Right? They're just creatures that they have to cast immediately. If they don't have the mana to cast immediately, they lose it forever.
Card draw is
and you
really
get to
bad
just
for them?
draw 2 cards a turn.
Card draw is really bad for them, right?
What's up?
The card draw spells are pretty damn bad for them.
Why?
Oh, it's only the next time.
The next one, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Card draw is fine. But I think this is a bomb. I think this is a bomb. This is an A- for me.
Yeah, this is really freaking powerful. I agree completely. Yeah, I'm on an A- as well. This is beautiful. Like, just a 4/4 haste is fine, but then you're gonna be drawing 2 cards per turn. Opponent is gonna be kind of having rough time with their things. I think this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Card is normal for them? Yeah, card is normal for them actually. Okay, beautiful card.
Widespread Thieving, 2 red, 3 mana for an enchantment with Hideaway 5. Whenever you cast a multicolor spell, create a treasure token. Then you may pay Wooburg. If you do, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Oh, what fun!
This?
What fun! Heck yeah! I think this card's awful.
Jesus Christ!
This card looks terrible. Looks unplayable. But it's super fun, and I'm gonna play with it. Yeah, this is an F. This is an F.
This is an F. What the hell was this? What is that white one, right? What is that white one doing?
The white one's just so bonkers and limited.
The white one is like the best card in the set. And then we got this like, I mean, it's okay to make treasures sometimes. Maybe fun to make 2 treasures. Completely unplayable.
Yeah, cardboard. Let's move cardboard around and then die.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so weird, the discrepancy of this cycle. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe the white one is probably worse than constructed. I don't know, man. Still. Oh!
That's it. That's it for red.
What do you think about red, man?
I like red. I like
red.
Blitz. I
That's
think all the Blitz, like slapping on the Blitz cards to even cards that don't look particularly great on their face is extremely strong.
yeah, Blitz is so good.
Which makes me a little concerned, honestly, because I was a little bit underwhelmed by the other colors, and I thought it might just be a whole set wide thing, so we'd just be playing with the lower powered set. But the cards in red look quite good.
Yeah.
Like black looked pretty reasonable, and red looks good to me.